Hey there, my name's Jona, and today we're going to be checking out a board game called Meadow. I like to review board games, but I also like to talk about their environmental impacts. So be sure to stay to the end of the video to find out how many eco-friendly Earth stars Meadow got. Meadow is a 1 to 4 player tableau style card game that is themed around sightseeing the wonders of nature. It's recommended for ages 10 and up, and it plays in about 60 minutes to 90 minutes. It was published by Rebel Studio and designed by Klemens, Kalicki. The goal of the game is to match elements on the cards and create kind of like an ecosystem chain of things that you might find out in a meadow. And as you do this, you're generating more and more victory points for the end of game scoring. When you put a path token in the main board, you get to draft a card and place a card in your tableau. If you place the pointy end of the path token into the main board, you're going to be taking a card from whatever number it says. You're going to go that far into the board. As soon as you take a card from the main board, you're going to replenish it from the deck that is above that row. Cards have two sets of elements. There's the card symbol at the top, which shows what this card offers, and then there's the elements underneath, which are the requirements for the card. To place a card into your tableau, you simply need the required elements to be in your tableau. Then that card must go on one of those elements. If there's more than one, it's up to you which card you want to cover up. Unless there are arrows, which will indicate that you are to put the card next to the element rather than on top of it. Also, there are victory points at the bottom part of the card. This is the points that you get at the end of the game for placing this card in your tableau. In this example, we have an element that is like a little bug. There's also ground symbols. You have to start with a ground card. One is provided for each player at the start of the game. You can place it either on the card that has the bug or the column that has the ground symbol. It's really up to you where you want to place it, but it must go on either or. Oh, before I forget, please subscribe to this channel if you're new. Thanks! Landscape cards are played very much the same way, where you're matching the symbols in your tableau to place the card. However, you need a landscape token to play a landscape card. The landscape cards only go about 2 to 3 cards before you can't play them anymore, and that usually ends with one of these bags, and it means that there's no more cards to be built on that landscape. The campfire actions allow you to activate the bottom part of the path token. You get to do some sort of action, either placing or drafting a card. And you also have the opportunity to take advantage of bonus points for being able to achieve goals that are in your tableau. As long as you can match 2 neighboring elements that are in the campfire, if they show up in your tableau, you can claim that goal when you take the campfire action. Every time you claim a campfire goal, your bonus point gets higher and higher. It starts at 2 extra bonus points. The next time you claim one, you get 3. And the final time that you claim a campfire bonus goal action, you get 4 points. A round will end after each player has played all of their path tokens. At that point, it's the end of the round, and the little hiker is going to move to the next stepping stone. The game is played over 6 to 8 rounds, depending on the player count. Once it gets to the middle of the game, after 3 or 4 rounds, there's going to be a refreshing phase. All the cards are taken off the board. A new deck of cards, the North deck, is introduced to the main board, and there's new cards put out. At the final round, you will count up all of your points that you gained through your tableau and any bonus points in any landscapes, and whoever has the most points is the winner. So this game comes with expansions in these little envelopes, which you can add to the rest of the cards at your discretion, but they do recommend on holding off adding those cards until you've played it a couple times with just the base cards. Meadow does have a solo variant, however, I didn't even give it a try. It has extra components and quite a few extra steps when it comes to the rules, so I just didn't feel like doing that. I'm sorry for being such a lazy reviewer. I really prefer my solo games to be very similar to the base game so I don't have to relearn it. Yeah, sorry. It's just who I am. So that's Meadow in a very basic sense. I didn't get into all the details of the rules, but I think that's okay. Now we're going to talk about the sustainability of the game. It got 4 Earth stars for eco-friendliness. The first one is because there's no plastic components in the game. The second star is because there was no spot UV or UV printing on the box or in the game at all. So spot UV is a combination of clay, shell, and polymer or plastic. And as it breaks down over time, it will become a microplastic, which is something we really don't want to add into the environment anymore. So I really appreciate when board game publishers avoid UV printing. Instead, they actually used an authentic linen wrap. Linen wraps are different than the linen finish that's very popular on our cards, and other publishers will actually use a linen finish on their boxes. Linen finish is achieved by pressing paper, pressing a pattern, a textured pattern into the paper, while linen is actually linen. It's a cloth fiber made from flex. It's very good environmentally because it doesn't require a lot of water, it's pest resistant, and the end product is very durable and holds up after time. And it's landfill friendly, which means that it will decompose after a short amount of time with little to no environmental impacts. It's more expensive, but it creates a more durable, high quality box. The third star is because they used FFC certified cardboard and paper in the game. FFC stands for Forest Stewardship Council, and they are the group of people that help to guard against deforestation and other harmful logging practices. Now, that is different than the whole game being FFC certified, and that's because there is no FFC logo on the box. This means that I am solely taking the publisher's word for the fact that they used FFC in this game. There's a very, very long supply chain in the products that we receive, and the FFC certification process guarantees that everyone is checking off the right boxes and FFC wood is truly getting in that final product. They told me they used FFC, so I'm telling you that they used FFC, but it isn't a actual certified FFC product. I do appreciate, though, the use of FFC certified wood wherever possible, because it means the publisher is probably buying a more expensive, high quality paper for their board game. The final star is because they used a water-based ink instead of an oil-based ink. That's a total of 4 stars. One thing that I was pretty disappointed to see is that they used a really big plastic box insert for the components. It's not necessary for the game whatsoever. It does keep everything tidy looking and it will probably make the game last longer, but the environmental impacts of that cheap black plastic will last even longer still because they are not recyclable and it just kind of bulks up the overall size of board games. Aside from the plastic box insert, I think that Rebel Studios did a really nice job publishing Meadow, and they had a lot of nice sustainable thought put into it. Overall, I enjoyed Meadow quite a lot. I like the drafting mechanic of placing your path tokens either on the main board or the campfire board to be able to activate those actions, and it made the drafting much more interesting and a little bit of a puzzling challenge in and of itself. I also enjoy the matching of elements and trying to figure out how to get the most rewarding cards based off of the elements that you have access that are available to you. I also think that the artwork really brings the whole theme together with the first player little compass, and the north, the south, the east, and the west of the cards is really clever and comes together very nicely. And the impressive part is that all the cards are different. Even if some of the landscape cards kind of read similar, they're actually all different. The landscape cards are actually the only thing in the game that I really didn't think was needed. I don't know, it just doesn't seem to help you strategically. But that's just me. The good thing is that if you don't want to play landscape cards, you can pretty much just ignore that entire part of the game, and you have a good chance of winning anyway. Overall, Meadow gets a rating of 4 pips out of 6. That's because it's lovely, it has a very chill and relaxing theme, but it's puzzly and challenging, if you want it to be, and if you really want to get the most out of the cards that are available to you. So I really enjoy that. Thank you so much for watching this review of Meadow. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. By Rebel Studio and designed by Klemens. What is it? It was published by Rebel Studios and it was designed by Kalicki. Tokens allow you to either draft cards, place cards, or what's the other thing that it does? But I also like to look at their environmental impacts. Today we're going to be looking at a board game called Meadow. Meadow is by drafting them from the main cardboard. The main cardboard. No moving. Okay, you have to go.